Good afternoon. It's Joy at Joy's Tiny Royalty Tiny Home Creators. I'm filming from my little dining room right here, and I got my plants around here, but I wanted to get straight to the point today. Do you want to prepare for homelessness, or do you want to prepare for keeping your home? I just watched a video from a YouTuber, and God love his soul, he means well, but he talked on preparing for homelessness. Now, I don't know about you, but I believe that if you believe that you're going to be this or that, that's what's going to happen. So, but he was already homeless, but he was very good at what he was saying and doing, because he's already learned the ropes and everything, but he was telling people how to prepare to be homeless. So this is about us preparing to keep our homes. So first of all, I want you to talk to the people that already own their homes. Like they have maybe a big house on I don't know how many acres, or they just live in a house in the city, but they own it. And maybe it's too big for you and you want to go tiny. Well, you can. You can. You can take that home and pick out various rooms that is going to be suited for you, and make it into a little tiny home. That is something I'm very good at. I mean, I really would have to go and be there and help people with it, but I'm sure that there's most of you out there are very creative and very intelligent and know how to do that. And if the rest of you people that thought you weren't, and you really dug deep, you would be. You'd find out. You'd surprise yourself. So I would take my home, if I already owned it, and I would make it into a tiny home for me, and then whatever was left, I don't know, maybe if you had some friends or family that was on the same page as you, set up a couple tiny homes in the rest of it. But here's the thing with that: you have to let go of your ego. I don't care what situation it is. You have to let go of your ego, and everything's got to be your way. Now, yes, it can be your way in your tiny little section, and possibly, but there has to be boundaries, because it is your home. But that's the first step, is keep your home at all costs if you can, and there are ways to do it. There's too much research out there nowadays to not be able to find out how to do things. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that do not know how to do the research and stuff like that. And of course, I've been doing this since the big clunky computers come out. That was a trip. But then I went to college too and learned a little something on computers. And the rest I just figure out for myself. But so then there's the people that rent. Well, now you know that without going on into what's going on out into the world, because we don't want to go into negativity. Our goal here is to prepare to keep our homes. So, or keep a roof over our head, something that we can love and be a home for us. So, if you rent, it's a little bit harder to divide the house up into different sections. because you're not allowed to do, rebuilds and stuff like that. And then, of course, you've got the problem with, okay, if you have somebody else come in and they have a little section in the same house, you're really not allowed to do that because the landlords don't want it. So my thing with people that rent would be what I did. I went and bought myself a camper. Now, some of you might be able to afford a regular tiny home. If you got to search, though, and then you got to search for a place to put it on. So if you're going to prepare to keep a home, keep a roof over your head, and you're renting, probably the best thing to do is try to find a piece of land someplace, or there's options of renting to own. If you want to go out towards the country a little bit, not a whole lot, just enough that you're not in the city. How they're talking about doing the cities and stuff. So buy a piece of land, and if you have to travel to another state, travel to another state. There's some places that you can get an acre of ground for a couple $1,000s with well on it and stuff. You just have to search. You have to be diligent and intentional in your preparing in your everyday life, actually. So see if you can find a piece of ground, and if you can't buy it outright, maybe you can pay on it as you go. And I know a lot of people that are on fixed incomes. That's a hard thing to do. But that's where downsizing comes in. Downsizing and simplifying your life to where while you're in the rental, get yourself down to the bare necessities. Like, say for instance, me, I got two plates, two bowls, one spoon, one fork, one butter knife, and one paring knife. I got two pans. I got a pan to boil things in, and I have a cast iron skillet. So that is one way you can downsize. I got this glass right here, citrus drink, and I got a regular glass about near tall, and so get down to what's essential, what works for you. Now, I know a lot of people like a lot of fancy stuff, and I have at one time too. But you can take that little bit of dishware that you've got and sit at the table like I have right here. I paid $199 for this table, but it's a kind of like a fancy table, and I've got it in the corner of my little pull-out. And so with the plates that I've got, I can sit down and be a little bit fancy. I mean, it's just me. I mean, but for those of you that do have company and family that come over, you can still downsize a little bit. Get yourself ready to go as tiny as you can and to start saving money. The less electric you use by using your hot water or your doing your dishes and your cooking and so forth, the more money you can save towards your electric. So I got advice from people that I used to listen to. I mean, I still listen to them, but they're hard to find every now and again. But this one lady said, pay yourself first. Now, again, I'm going to go back to the fact that everybody don't have the same amount of money a month. Now, if you got a job and you want to prepare to keep a home, 10% of your income every week, every 2 weeks, however often you get paid, 10% of that, put that aside and start saving for at least an acre of ground. And if you possibly can, with a well and sewer and all that kind of good stuff. The sewer is optional, really, but if you can get electric in it and water, I mean, if you can go that route, then that's a good place to start. So you're preparing, you're preparing. Prepare your mind and prepare physically to keep a home, whether it be a camper, whether it be a little shed that you got on a piece of ground or something, because from what I can see, it is not fun to be homeless. And those of you that are on fixed incomes, now I've been able to take 10% of my earnings. And I started that actually when I was still paying for the camper, and I was living in an apartment. So the camper payment was $400 a month, and I was living in an apartment paying $379 for a month for rent, and I was paying for electric, and I was paying for my internet. So, and I was still eating. I mean, I had help, you know, with food stamps and stuff like that, but I started saving. Well, now it's time for me to let go of the extra help because my camper is paid for, and I've started putting money in the bank. But I'm fortunate enough that I have my camper on my daughter and son-in-law's property, and I'm hooked up to their electric and their sewer. I pay them for the electric. Now that the camper's paid for, I can start putting more money aside. But the preparedness is actually, to being prepared, starting to prepare is really the hard part, because you really, especially if you don't have, well, even if you have a job, because the prices nowadays are ridiculous. So you have to be diligent. You have to be willing to, I got the term, sacrifice for yourself. Get the cheapest phone that you can get. Go to cheaper paper towels. Go evaluate your food buying and things like that. Now, it's been a long journey on me getting my food down to where it's working for me, and I'm eating fine. I mean, every once in a while I splurge and I go out and eat out, but the food that you're making out there anymore it tastes horrible. So I try not to indulge in that anymore. But you got to start preparing to either keep your home, your one you own, and find ways to downsize and make a couple of little tiny spaces in it, and renting. The rent is outrageous out there. So if you've got family that will allow you to put a camper on their property, or even a tiny home if you can afford it right now. And later on, you might not be able to afford it. So, when you're living on anybody's property, I don't care who it is, whether it's family or not, you got to rein in your ego. Because when you're living on somebody else's property, you've got to respect their way of life. And it's, you can do it. You can do it. That's just bottom line. You can do it. The better you treat people, the better things are going to be for you. And the better you treat yourself. I mean, don't begrudge yourself things that you love and things like that, but be frugal with it. Don't, like I get ice cream. I mean, I have no problems with it, outside of it makes me fat. So, I have a soda. Now, it's not the most expensive. I go to Dollar Tree, and I get, it's a little 4-pack. I can either get cola or I can get the twist. It's like a lemon kind of drink. And for 4 of them for $1.25. That's what it is right now. I hear it's supposed to go up to $1.50. But, and I got a nice little glass to drink it out of. Makes me feel a little fancy. Yeah, you know, you gotta make sure that you're not downsizing and decluttering so much that you're taking away all your pleasures. So, prepare to keep a roof over your head. Don't think about being homeless, because that'll just get you into trouble. Because the more you think on something and you worry about something, you're just gonna, you're for whatever reason, you move in the direction that you're thinking about the most. So, prepare to keep a roof over your head. I implore you. I mean, I beg you. I just beg you. And like I said, if you own your own home, hold on to it somehow, some way. All right, well, we'll talk to you later. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. It's going to happen for you either way. Y'all have a great day. Goodbye.